Hi everyone, it's Michaela here from the Mom and Baby House. Today I'm accompanied by my mom here, Annalise, and we'll be talking with Charlene Yared-West, and she is a doula that specialises in hypnobirthing, and she's going to give us a little bit of insight into her field of expertise. So I really hope you guys enjoy it. Firstly, I obviously want to welcome you to our shop. It's really nice having you here, and thank you for coming out all the way from Cape Town. And just to give them a bit of a heads up, so Charlene is a doula that specialises in hypnobirthing, and today we'll just be chatting about some of the effects that, for example, fear can have in your body during the birthing process, etc. So I think we'll obviously start with the basic thing. What is hypnobirthing? Because a lot of people, I'm assuming, is hearing it as a new term. It's not something that's been here since the last 100 years.
It is relatively new. It is growing in popularity as more moms become empowered with information and the internet being wide open. So you do find more mothers opting to do a hypnobirthing course, whether online or in person. And it basically teaches mothers how to use their own relaxation tools within themselves to take themselves into deeper states of relaxation during labor or birth, and also even for cesarean section. So that's an amazing, that's amazing.
That was one of my questions, because a lot of parents obviously plan, or moms, to have a natural birth, but then necessarily it doesn't always happen that way.
But I do think that with hypnobirthing, you might even prevent a C-section maybe. It depends on the situation, of course. There's medical reasons for people to have a C-section. But like me, I just decided immediately that I'm going to have a C-section because my children were huge and I had my business. So I've
sorry about that.
like 4 kilos big, and I heard so many and I heard so many stories, obviously horror stories in my business in the past few years, that I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. But if I then knew about hypnobirthing, I would definitely try that first. Definitely.
I mean, hypnobirthing, there's no one that's hypnotizing you or pulling out a little fob watch, and I wish I had one, just to sit and go. But there's none of that. It's really, it's self-hypnosis, so it's the mother taking her own self into it. And we do that through a number of techniques and tools that she can learn herself and practice as well during her pregnancy, so that when it comes time to go into labor, she's immediately in a much better state of mind, and her excitement and her joy and happiness is in the forefront, which triggers the right hormones for labor, as opposed to the fight, flight, or freeze or survival hormones, which you can also go into, which slow down or stall labor. So
of course.
I am personally always thinking about what state, mental, emotional state, is the mother in at this moment, and how is it affecting her labor, and how can you change it. And that's where hypnobirthing can come in. And also maybe just the chat. Maybe she just needs to have a little chat.
Yes, of course, that's the doula side coming completely.
Or maybe it's too many lights, or maybe it's too much noise or interruptions. So remove those factors and fear factors. And she's empowered herself throughout her pregnancy with these hypnobirthing techniques.
To
take herself into it.
What's so cool about the hypnobirthing, if you go read up on it, is that, of course, it's focused specifically for women going into labor, and the before, during, and after effects. But so many of these techniques and tools you can actually use on yourself as well. So I almost feel like it's a life tool or a life skill that we usually
I think it's for any acute stressful situation. Whether you're just going for a normal op or going to the dentist, you would be able to self-soothe self-soothing, that's what they call it, and it's actually very apt. But to get back to the core discussion, is that these are techniques very similar to a meditation type of techniques.
Yes.
Where the mom can listen to mindfulness
Yeah,
techniques, where the mom can listen to a guided meditation.
Yeah.
But now this would maybe be her own one that she creates for herself.
Yeah, she can create it herself,
Yeah.
but if she can't, then she can probably go to sites on YouTube to actually get the information.
Yeah.
And then the endorphins, obviously, that is the hormone that just floods the body because she's in that state. And that just takes away the fear. Because the minute you've got the fear and you've got adrenaline going, then your uterus just contracts even worse.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell what it is. To get yourself in a state, maybe even a beta state,
Yes.
where you are more relaxed.
Exactly.
Your muscles are relaxed in your uterus.
Someone's done their research.
Yeah, it falls smack in the middle between being wide awake and fast asleep. So it's not an abnormal state of mind. Hypnosis falls there. It's just the word hypnosis and hypnobirthing which has negative connotations attached to it. Because when you think hypnosis, you think of stage hypnosis, or you think of the fog watch.
Or you think of not being in control. Where with hypnobirthing you're fully in control, guys.
Or running like a chicken on a stage.
Yeah.
You know, you saw that
But even those
so often.
people on the stage are there of their own volition. So nobody is forcing them to do anything.
Yeah.
And that's the same with hypnosis, with hypnobirthing, is you are willingly allowing yourself to go into that state. And you can be quite wide awake during your labor, or you can allow yourself to sink even lower down into those sleepier levels. You know.
At the end of the day, it's probably what she feels is necessary for her body and what she's going through in that moment.
Well, I think it's very important from the research that I've done that the moms need to start practicing this very early in their pregnancy, listening to maybe a guided mindfulness meditation and practice to be in that state.
I have a whole bunch of them that I've created myself that are on the website.
Excellent. So we can maybe put that also on our website.
Definitely.
And then every time she hears that same voice, the same music, she will go into that state automatically.
Yeah, it's like having a doula in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good
your
one.
husband's in your pocket.
And it's the association.
Yeah.
So for me, this is such an amazing mind-body tool experience that we can make use of. And I think this is really opening up a whole world of possibilities for moms, because suddenly the perceptions we have about birth can now slowly be shattered. Obviously, it's going to take a long, long time. But if you think about birth, immediately in your mind comes the pain and the horror stories and
perhaps what your family
the things you've heard and the media.
But that's now, I'm glad you said media, because I do think a lot of TV shows and movies have instilled fear around childbirth.
It's so boring to watch a calm, comfortable birth. Even if she...
That's the thing!
You know, she can be making a lot of noise, but it's so boring. It's really like there's no drama there.
But then also this is a new tool that we have. If we have to look at the world and the way it's changing and developed, we can see that it's only now that people really understand the power of the subconscious, the power of their own thoughts. If you go onto YouTube, I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. It's just a whole new wave of change. And I don't know how long hypnobirthing has been done or practiced, but to me it feels relatively okay.
80s.
That's great.
But it's actually quite long ago.
I think after the founder of it was Marie Mongan.
Yes.
But since then, many different hypnobirthing programs have sprung up, and some have improved upon the techniques, which is amazing. So it is something that just keeps growing and changing, and mothers, are discerning shoppers as well.
Yes, definitely.
And you may get tired of listening to one voice in your ear,
Yes.
as you prepare for your birth. So
Yeah.
it's nice to know that there are a range of options available.
Now, the one client said to me that it is important that if you do want to make use of hypnobirthing or you've been practicing it, to actually put it on your birth plan and let the hospital and the staff know about it, because what also happens is you get there and they're like, but why are you here? Because you're still calm, and the contractions that is now called the surges are still far away, but you calm and you collect it, and they don't realize that she's been practicing a mindfulness method, and that she might be quite close to giving birth. And I actually hear that these women are then sent home, and then they do go in labor because they are actually close to that stage, and they've got to be rushed with an ambulance back, and I just heard all these stories, and I thought, well, please put it on your birthing plan and make sure the staff, especially your birth partner, your husband or your midwife, also, that they are educated, that's why you're so calm.
Yes,
You're still giving birth, but you just calm.
Exactly.
But if they are interested in making use of a specialist in hypnobirthing, can they find you? Will you be the go-to person in Cape Town?
Yes.
Is there a whole group or network of
There are a
individuals?
few of us that teach hypnobirthing all over the Cape, So it might be easier if you want a one-on-one class to find one in your area, of course.
Okay.
But you can also do it online, and I will be offering that as well. So all the tracks are online, and you can just download them instantaneously in labor as well.
Yes.
There are tracks for listening during your pregnancy every night before you go to bed. There's a track that takes you into this beautiful courtyard and helps with fear release before. And then there's pregnancy affirmations, birth affirmations.
And that's all on your website?
And another one for labor, when you're pushing your baby out, which is also really... So it's just like a very positive voiceover. It's harder, I find, as a doula, we don't often speak a lot at a birth. We are more space holders and holding the space and allowing the mother to do and be whatever she wants to be.
Yes, of course.
And that's one thing about hypnobirthing that I'd like to say is, it's important, is that when you do YouTube hypnobirthing births, you do find that the videos that are uploaded are moms that are extremely calm and sipping tea, and then the babies do come quickly. But I never want that or moms to have those kinds of births as a benchmark, because every single birth is so different.
Yes.
So she can make a lot of noise and push her baby out with a lot of noise and not simply breathe her baby down and out. She can, use a lot of effort, because that's what birth is. It's real and raw, and there's fluids and
it's not picture perfect.
I don't. That's the one thing, is I don't want moms to think that because you're doing hypnobirthing you need to be quiet or reserved or suppress the sounds. In fact, anything you suppress, it slows the labor down. So you can have all of those noisy type of birth and still have a hypnobirthing birth. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's actually nice to know.
That's really important.
So maybe we can just recap to the moms that we will be placing Charlene's information on our website, on the database, so that they can actually go and find
and also
you.
at the end of this video, we'll be putting in a slide.
So please make use of all her tracks that you've downloaded.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because we're based in Somerset West, we will also try and find a contact person in our area.
Yes.
Otherwise, you can speak to Charlene.
Great.
Do you have any more questions?
Yes, I was trying to slide in there before you said that. I was like, no, wait, don't get it. I wanted to know, because obviously hypnobirthing is focused a lot on mind over matter at the end of the day.
Yes.
What would you say, or actually what would your word of advice be to a mom that is going to do hypnobirthing, use it as a method, when she's going into labour now, but because of medical complications, she's got to now have a cesarean instead, and or take an epidural.
Yes.
You know, does that affect you to a certain extent?
No, I think, for example, today I attended a birth where the mother had been planning for 9.5 months of her pregnancy that she wanted to have a vaginal natural birth.
Yes.
And she prepared using the hypnobirthing tracks all the way up until that point. And last night when we spoke, or 2 days ago when we spoke, she said she really loves the natural birth track still. I said, well, you can still listen to it, but here's the cesarean birth track that you can listen to.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just a state of mind.
Yeah.
So whether you have a natural labor or you have a cesarean birth, I don't call it a cesarean section, it's the cesarean birth because you're still giving birth.
Yes. Yes.
Whether you have one or the other, if you are calmer approaching it, you're going to have a better experience regardless.
And of course, if you well, this is me assuming, the more you practice being in that, you know, mental state of awareness, unconsciousness, in between, it should be easier to access it even if you are under the influence of some medicine.
Of course. I
Of
mean,
medication.
for cesarean preparation, listening to that script or that visualization is really just taking the moms through the whole, like a visualization of the whole process. From when they arrive, well, packing their bags at home, to going to the hospital, to having the questions, you know, given to them by the different doctors that come and visit, and then going into theatre and the spinal, etc.
So it's visualization.
Visualization.
The more you expose to the visualization, the less the fear also becomes. So it's like an athlete. The more you see,
like desensitizing.
You're going through maybe
and reframing
or getting where you want to be, reaching your goal. So it's the same for the mom. So to desynthesize.
And reframe, you know,
Absolutely.
it's bright lights in that theatre. So
Absolutely.
how do you get around that?
I think this is such a life skill. I would just call this video not hypnobirthing, but just hypno for life. Because I feel whether you have to go to the dentist or the gynecologist or wherever, we get so stressed
especially
out.
for your moms that
Use
suffer
this.
with anxiety before having birth. Because
which is most moms. Because it's something you've never done before. You know, so there's.
And you can actually see it.
It's anxiety.
Because if you compare a first-time mom coming into a shop versus a second-time or third-time mom, they're so chilled and laid back the second time or third or fourth, fifth, how many kids. They're like, you know, whatever, this is happening, it's time, let's go. Where the first time mom was like, I'm not ready, I'm not ready enough, you know.
Your first time mom probably, she's probably a long time shopper, she looks at everything, and the second time mom just gets it and gets it.
Yes.
And the first time mom just buys new from us. And the second and the third time mom is, I'm not going to waste my time on you again. Just show me second-hand Annalise, because they go through it like that. And so we've actually built, on knowing our target market, we've built our business, because we say everywhere, you know, new to first-time parents and pre-loved to second-time parents. So we've learned. But I think that's that.
I think all the answers have been answered. All the questions, all the answers, all the questions have been answered.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been most enlightening.
Thank you very much.
And I think we've empowered ourselves and women out there. And we would love to hear stories. So if there are positive
if there's
stories,
anyone that's got some stories to share or that's been through, you know, hypnobirths, please let us know in the comment section.
On Facebook, YouTube,
Great. So I'm going to tell you all about how fear affects the uterus. The uterus is the most amazing set of muscles in your body. And if you haven't looked up this woman called Ina May Gaskin, she's a famous midwife in America, and she said, if men had such an organ like the uterus, they would also brag about it. So should we. That's how amazing it is. So it's made up of 3 muscle layers. It's got the outer longitudinal muscle layer and the inner circular muscle layer, right? And the layer in between these 2 layers provides the inner and outer layers with oxygenated blood. So that's why it's so important to breathe deeply during labor, because it feeds that middle muscle layer to provide oxygenated blood to your baby as well. So the longitudinal muscle layer on the outside is stimulated by the hormone oxytocin. And oxytocin is produced during 3 times in your life and always results in an ejection reflex. Okay? So the first time it is produced is every time you have sex and orgasm. So for men, their ejection reflex is an ejaculation, and for women it is an orgasm. Right? And the second time it is produced is every time the woman goes into labor and gives birth, which results in the baby. That's the ejection reflex, the fetal ejection reflex. And the highest amount of oxytocin you ever produce in your entire life is in that first hour after birth, when you produce such a high amount to help the placenta be ejected from the body. So that would be the placenta ejection reflex. And then the third time it is produced is every time you breastfeed. It literally squeezes the milk ducts to allow for the milk ejection reflex. So during labor, the longitudinal muscles are stimulated by oxytocin to pull the circular muscles up like this, to build the thick muscle layer at the top here, called the fundus, which then helps to nudge and push the baby down. And this process happens beautifully when you're feeling relaxed and calm, and you're not running for your life, and you're not threatened. But if you are in a state of fear, or you're feeling threatened or afraid, then your circular muscles become stuck and won't move. And there's a great South African Afrikaans word called knaping, right? So your uterus says, sorry guys, we're not doing this right now, maybe later, but not now, you know. And so we have to remove the fear factor for the circular muscle to move. And that's where hypnobirthing comes in, is it goes into your subconscious where your fears are stored around birth and helps to get rid of those fears so that your circular muscle will move. So the circular muscles are pulled up to build this thick muscle, which then helps to push the baby down and out. And the secondary effect of that is that it also pulls on the cervix, which is like a little kiss. This is my uterus. My uterus, but my uterus. Here is the cervix. It looks like a little kiss. So the longitudinal muscles pull on the circular muscles to build a thick muscle here called the fundus. And look what's happening to our cervix. Is it starting to open? This little bit of red string here is a bit of show, which means it's show time, a bit of blood coming out. And that's from the pressure of the baby on the cervix. That it bursts the blood capillaries. So there is a little bit of blood that comes out. And look, there's a bit of amniotic sac as well. So the circular muscles are being pulled up by these longitudinal muscles, which then help to thin or efface and open or dilate the cervix to 10 centimeters. And then when it is fully open, here we have some amniotic sac, which is so normal over the baby's head. You'll see that it's even been opened there a little bit, because then that means the waters have broken as well. And then here we have the baby coming. Yay. There's the baby, and the baby will rotate out of the uterus. The midwife or your gynae will help the baby out. Sometimes the baby comes whoosh out in one big go, but once the head is out, the rest is usually much easier to birth. And hypnobirthing can make this a much calmer process. So then the baby comes out of the sac. There's the little cord. Baby's put onto your chest.
We've got an audience.
That's my cat baby. Why don't you come in?
Perfect timing. And the placenta. And then it's that. So that's how fear affects your uterus, is it is it makes those circular muscles tight, not to move, which slows down progress. So by letting go of the fear factor, then your circular muscles will move and progress will happen.
Awesome.
Oh, you did really, really well. And I love the little...
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like, subscribe, and keep an eye out for our next video coming up next week. We'll be interviewing the doula collab from Cape Town, and it's going to be a very exciting dynamic. Have a good day. Bye.